This chapter, which is application and uses of indifference curves, is has a couple of very important topics, which is the backward bending supply curve of labor and the in-kind food subsidy. Both of these topics are imperative for your CUET prep. But I want to go over the income leisure choice because this could give you a fair idea of what happens in this chapter before this, so that you can perhaps go through the entire chapter and it'll still be understandable. But in this video, we would not go over the entire chapter, at least not for right now. So, income leisure choice. Indifference curve analysis can be used to explain an indifferent individual's choice between income and leisure, and to show why higher overtime wage rate must be paid if more hours of work is to be obtained from workers. It is important to note that income is earned by devoting some of the leisure time to do some work. Okay, so whenever you are uh, basically uh, you want income, for that you have to spend some of your leisure time, because otherwise all of your time is just leisure time, right? But if you want income, you need to spend some of those leisure hours to do some kind of work. That is, income is earned by sacrificing some leisure. Okay, leisure, leisure, whatever you want to call it. The greater the amount of sacrifice of leisure, that is, the greater the amount of work done, the greater the income which is earned by an individual. Further, income is used to purchase goods other than leisure for consumption. Leisure time can be used for resting, sleeping, playing, listening to music on radio, television, all of which provide satisfaction to the individual. Therefore, in economics, leisure is regarded as a normal commodity, the enjoyment of which yields satisfaction to the individual. Now, this is a little important. So, leisure is also treated as a normal commodity because the amount of as leisure increases, your satisfaction also increases. While leisure yields satisfaction to the individual directly, income represents general purchasing power capable of being used to buy goods and services. But on the other hand, the amount of income that you earn by giving up leisure for work is actually going to give you the purchasing power, which in turn helps you buy commodities in general, right? Thus, income provides satisfaction indirectly. Okay, therefore, we can draw an indifference curve between income and leisure, both of which give satisfaction to the individual. An indifference map between income and leisure is depicted in 11.12 and have all the usual properties of indifference curve. So it's just like any other indifference curves. Both income is plotted on the y-axis, leisure is plotted on the x-axis, and indifference curves are convex to the origin. They slope downward into the right and are convex to the origin and do not intersect. Each indifference curve represents various alternative combinations of income and leisure which provide equal level of satisfaction to the individual. And the farther away the indifference curve is from the origin, the higher the level of satisfaction. So every other rule that applies to any other IC applies here as well. The slope of the indifference curve, measuring marginal rate of substitution between leisure and income, shows a trade-off between income and leisure. Again, just like MRS was equal to the change in x due to the change in y, same is going to be the case here. The change in money income, the change in money income, so MRS shows the change in y due to a change in x, same is here. So the change in income due to a change in leisure, or 1 unit change in leisure. So, this trade off means how much income the individual is willing to accept for 1 hour sacrifice of leisure time. So, this trade off, because it's going to show the trade off between income and leisure. So, it would basically mean how much income the individual is paying. So, delta M to accept 1 hour sacrifice in leisure time divided by delta L. In geometric terms, 11.12, that on indifference curve I see one at point A, the individual is willing to accept delta M AC income of for sacrificing an hour delta L of BC or BC of leisure. Okay. Thus, the trade-off between income and leisure at this point is delta M by delta L. At different income leisure levels, the trade-off between leisure and income varies. I seek between income and leisure are therefore called trade-off curves. So basically, these income and leisure indifference curves are called trade-offs. Income leisure constraint. However, the choice of income and leisure by an individual would also depend upon what the market rate of exchange between the two, that is the wage per hour of work. It is worth noting that wage rate is the opportunity cost of leisure. So, opportunity cost, we know the next best thing basically. So, wage rate is the opportunity cost of leisure. So, whatever wage you're going to be earning, you're going to earn it with an opportunity cost of leisure, which is you're giving up leisure and earning that rate called the wage rate. In other words, to increase leisure by 1 hour, an individual has to forego the opportunity of earning income, which he can earn by doing work for another hour, or he has to give up, he has to give up that wage, 1 hour wage, whatever that rate may be. For an hour in order to get an increased hour of leisure for himself. This leads us to income leisure constraint, which together with the indifference map between income and leisure would determine the actual choice by the individual. Okay, the maximum amount of time available per day for the individual is 24 hours, right? So the amount of total hours that you have in a day is going to be 24 no matter what. Okay, thus the maximum amount of leisure time, so this is the constraint that we have on this, the maximum amount of leisure time that you can enjoy is 24 hours per day in order to earn income for satisfying his wants of goods and services. But if he wants to have goods and services, then he needs to earn something for which he needs to work, for which he needs to give up his leisure. So he will devote some time to do work out of those 24 hours of leisure that he otherwise has. Consider figure 11.13, where leisure is measured on the rightward direction along the horizontal axis and maximum leisure time is OT. So this is the constraint that you have, and OT, if you're measuring leisure here, OT is the maximum amount of leisure that you can have basically, right? So OT is the maximum leisure time equal to 24 hours. Okay, if the individual can work for all the 24 hours, he would earn income equal to OM, right? So if he's giving this all the time, which is 24 hours in a day, to work, he's going to earn an income of OM, correct? Income OM equals OT multiplied by the hourly wage rate. So OT, which is the amount of hours, the number of hours that you're spending to work, into the wage rate, which is the amount of money that you will earn per hour, where W represents the wage rate. The straight line MT is the budget constraint. Like I said, this is the constraint that you have. So this is like your budget constraint, which which is in the present context is generally referred to as the income leisure constraint, and in this case we call it the income leisure constraint, which shows the various combinations of income and leisure among which the individual will have to make a choice. Thus, if a person chooses combination C, this means that he is on OL1 level of leisure. The rest, because you calculate leisure or you accommodate leisure on this axis, x-axis. So whatever you take from the origin is going to be leisure. Whatever leftover you have is going to be work. Okay. So OL1 of leisure and OM1 of amount of income. Okay. He has earned OM1 amount of income by working TL1 hours. Okay, TL1 hours of work. Choice of other points on income leisure line MT will show different amounts of leisure. Okay, so whatever choices you make on this empty constraint is going to give you the different amounts of leisure, income and work. So income finally is OM, which will be equal to OT into W. So wage rate is essentially equal to M by OT. Thus the slope of income leisure curve is OM by OT, which equals to the wage rate. So wage rate is basically the um, slope of the income leisure curve. Got it? Okay. Uh, let's move on to the income leisure equilibrium. Now we can bring together the indifference map showing ranking of preferences to the individual between income and leisure and the income leisure line to show the actual choice of leisure and income by the individual, right? We will further show how much work effort, that is supply of labor in terms of hours worked, he will put on the optimal situation. Our analysis is based on two assumptions. First, he is free to work as many hours per day as he likes. Second, that the wage rate is the same irrespective of the number of hours he chooses to work. So right now we're not taking into account the OT kind of stuff, that after 9 hours you get an additional $2, whatever. We're not taking that into consideration at the moment. Figure 11.12 displays an income leisure equilibrium of the individual. With the given wage rate, individual will choose a combination of income leisure lying on the income leisure line MT. Now this is, as we've already read, this is called the income leisure constraint or the income leisure line. MT that maximizes his satisfaction. Okay, so he's going to choose a combination that maximizes his satisfaction. It will be seen that the given income leisure MT is tangent to the IC2 at point E. We see that this is tangential at point E to which IC? IC2. Showing OL1 of leisure, OL1 level of leisure and OM1 amount of or level of income. In this optimal condition, income leisure trade-off, that is MRS between income and leisure. Now we know that MRS is going to be the slope or the relationship that comes between income and leisure equals to the wage rate. Why? Because they're tangential. Okay, MRS का जो slope है is tangential to the slope of the income leisure line here, जिसका slope है basically wage rate. Okay, so optimal condition पे basically ये दोनों जो है वो equal होंगे. That is the market exchange rate between the two. In this equilibrium position, individual works for TL1 hours per day. Thus, he has worked for TL1 hours to earn OM1 amount of income. So, TL1 hours is a work hour to earn the OM1 level of income. Okay, that's how it is calculated. Now, need for higher overtime wage rate. Now, अब वो बात आती है कि अगर आपको ज़्यादा घंटे काम करवाना है apart from the said work hours, you will need to give them an overtime pay. So it will be interesting to know why there is a need to pay higher wage rate than the normal wage rate for getting more or overtime work from the individuals. As explained above, with the given wage rate and given trade-off between income and leisure, the individual chooses to work TL1 hours per day. We've already seen this. ठीक है, इधर भी देख सकते हैं. To do overtime work, he will have to sacrifice more leisure time, right? So he will need to sacrifice more leisure time because he'll need to move further along this, because अभी तो leisure ये है, OL1 leisure है, TL1 work है, ठीक है. पर अगर you want him to work for more hours, you will need him to move the number of hours, work hours basically towards the left, which means leisure gets pushed back. Okay, so there's a sacrifice of more leisure time, and therefore to provide him incentive to forego more leisure and thus to work for more hours, it is required to pay him a higher wage rate. This is depicted in figure 11.15, where at the equilibrium level E, a steeper leisure income line EK than MT has been drawn. Okay, ई के ड्रॉ करना पड़ता है हमें, ठीक है, बिकॉज अब वेज रेट बढ़ गई बेसिकली, ठीक है। तो ई के ड्रॉ करना पड़ेगा। ये आपके सेट नंबर ऑफ वर्क आवर्स हैं, इनसे ज़्यादा अगर आपको काम करवाना है तो आपको ये जो बेसिकली कंस्ट्रेंट है इसको बढ़ाना पड़ेगा। तो इक्विलिब्रियम पॉइंट ई के बाद क्या होगा, स्टीपर लेजर इनकम ई के देन एम टी हैज़ बिन ड्रॉन। TL1 is the hours worked at the wage rate W, ठीक है, represented by the slope of the income leisure line MT, which is going to come on the MT itself. If a higher overtime wage rate say W dash represented by the line EK is fixed, अब आपने EK पे W dash को specify कर दिया, fix कर दिया, ठीक है। The individual is in equilibrium at point H, और इक्विलिब्रियम कहाँ पे सेट होगा, फिर पॉइंट एच पे होगा, ठीक है। दिस इज़ द पॉइंट ऑन द इंडिफरेंस कर्व IC2, और IC भी जो है सेटिस्फैक्शन भी आपको हायर मिलेगा एट IC2। पहले आपको IC1 पे थे आप, अब आप IC2 पे हो, ठीक है। वेरी चूजेस टू हैव लेजर O2 लेजर टाइम, और देखो इस पर क्या है, कॉरस्पॉन्डिंगली भी है O2 लेजर, ठीक है, एंड OM2 अमाउंट ऑफ मनी इनकम। और मनी इनकम देखिए OM2 है, पहले OM1 थी, ठीक है। Thus he has sacrificed L1 L2 more leisure to do overtime work and get M1 M2। ये sacrifice है उसका और ये उसकी earning है, ठीक है। Now he works for TL2 hours per day, और work कितना करे, TL2, ठीक है। This is the next amount of work that he's going to do in case of overtime. TL1 at hourly wage rate W and L1 L2 at higher wage rate W dash, ठीक है, L1 L2 at higher wage rate W dash. Further he is better off than before because now he is on IC2। तो बेसिकली एक पॉइंट के बाद, ठीक है, अब वो पॉइंट कुछ भी हो सकता है, वो इक्विलिब्रियम पॉइंट होगा यूजुअली, विच इज़ जहाँ पे स्टेबिलिटी रहती है, वो ठीक है, हैप्पी है, खुश है कि इतने नंबर ऑफ वर्क आवर्स जो मुझे करने हैं एट द गिवन वेज रेट, बिकॉज इट स्टार्ट्स ऑल विद एवरीथिंग स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम द वेज रेट इटसेल्फ। सो एट द गिवन वेज रेट ही इज़ रेडी टू वर्क TL1 आवर्स, जो हमने इधर भी पढ़ा था, somewhere here it's mentioned। so at yeah this one, so at the given wage rate जो इंडिविजुअल है वो MT पर एक पॉइंट E या L1 लेवल ऑफ OL1 लेवल ऑफ लीजर एंड TL1 लेवल ऑफ वर्क करने के लिए रेडी है, ठीक है। पर अगर आपको उससे ज़्यादा उसको काम करवाना है तो फिर आपको वेज रेट बढ़ानी पड़ेगी। वो वेज रेट बढ़ेगी मतलब जो आपका इनकम लीजर कंस्ट्रेंट है उसका स्लोप भी बढ़ेगा, और स्लोप क्या है इनकम लीजर लाइन का, वेज रेट, ठीक है। तो मतलब आपको एक वेज रेट W डैश ऑफ़र करनी पड़ेगी जो कि W से बड़ी होगी बेसिकली, ठीक है। दैट्स इट। Okay. Wage offer curve and the supply of labor. Now with the analysis of income leisure, it is easy to derive the supply curve of labor. अब हम labor का supply curve derive करेंगे। Supply curve of labor shows how much an individual work effort responds to change in wage, ठीक है। जब wages change होंगी तो work effort basically कैसे change होगा, वो supply curve of labor आपको बताएगी। The derivation of supply curve of labor is given in this 11.16 in panel A of the figure. It will be seen that the wage rate W naught, which is of course equal to OM naught by OT, ठीक है, OM naught by OT, ठीक है, ये लेवल पर आपका वेज रेट W नॉट है, ठीक है। द वेज लाइन और इनकम लीजर लाइन इज़ TM नॉट, ठीक है। इनकम लीजर लाइन जो अब है वो TM नॉट है, ठीक है। एंड द इंडिविजुअल इज इन इक्विलिब्रियम एट पॉइंट Q, इस वाले पॉइंट पर वो बेसिकली इक्विलिब्रियम में है, ठीक है। वेयर ही चूजेस OL नॉट लेजर टाइम एंड TL नॉट आवर्स टू वर्क, OL नॉट लेजर टाइम, TL not work hours. That is at wage rate W naught he supplies TL not amount of labor. Understandable, ये इतना काम करेगा। तो सप्लाई कर्व में बेसिकली हमें क्या क्या चीज़ें चाहिए सप्लाई कर्व बनाने के लिए, वर्क एफर्ट्स, द नंबर ऑफ वर्क आवर्स दैट यू आर वर्किंग एंड द चेंजेस इन वेज रेट, ठीक है। दोनों चीज़ें हमें काइंड ऑफ मिल चुकी हैं। तो हम W नॉट पर OL नॉट प्लॉट कर सकते हैं, uh, where he chooses OL not leisure time this much work hours, that is at wage rate W naught he supplies TL naught amount of labor. This supply of labor is directly shown against wage rate W naught in panel B. Now when the wage rate increases to W1, wage line और income leisure line shifts to TM1. ओके, अब ये हम इस वाले लेवल पे आ जाएंगे, TM1 पे आ जाएंगे, ठीक है, जब आपकी वेज रेट इंक्रीज़ होगी W1, ठीक है. अब ये W1 किसके इक्वल होगा? OM1/OT, ठीक है, OM1 लेवल ऑफ इनकम एंड OT, ठीक है, दिस इज स्टिल द सेम. ओके, now when the wage line income leisure line shifts to TM1 and the individual reduces his leisure to OL1. Now there's a reduction in leisure. Why? Because we've increased rises to W1, which means that हमारा जो अब नया wage rate है वो actually greater than पुराना वाला wage rate है. His leisure is OL1, he supplies TL1 level of hours of work. L1 L0 more than before, L1 L0 more than before, you can see in panel A. Thus L1 number of work hours supplied is shown against W1. Likewise when the wage rate rises to W2, you have a point, you are supplying T2 work hours. On joining points QRS, you see, because at different wage rates your leisure time goes on decreasing, so this is how it's going to be. The wage offer curve is basically going to be like this. Okay, we get what is often called the wage offer curve, which is similar to the PCC. Okay, जैसे PCC होता था वैसे ही ये होता है. In panel B, the information supplied by the wage offer curve, that is the supply of labor work hours by the individual at different wage rate, is shown directly in the panel. Supply of hours worked is measured along the x-axis and wage rate along the y-axis. At a glance in panel B, we reveal that supply curve of labor is upward sloping, indicating positive response to the individual at to a rise in wage rate. Now we'll see how this is kind of false also in just a bit. Okay, income effect and substitution effect of change in wage rate. Now the supply curve of labor does not always slope upwards. It can slope or bend backwards too, which will imply that at higher wage rate the individual will supply less labor. Under what conditions supply curve of labor slopes upwards and under what circumstances it bends backwards can be explained in terms of income effect and substitution effect of change in wage rate. As in case of change in price, rise in wage rate has both substitution effect and income effect. तो जब चेंज इन प्राइस जो प्राइस अगर चेंज होगा, राइज इन वेज रेट, ठीक है, जब होगा तो उस पर बोथ इनकम एंड सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट लगेंगे. नेट कॉम्बिनेशन ऑन सप्लाई ऑफ लेबर डिपेंड्स ऑन द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूशन इनकम इफेक्ट. अगेन वी seen this already. Okay, it all comes down to the magnitude of both these effects as to what essentially happens in time. Okay. It is important to note that leisure is a normal commodity, which means that increase in income leads to increase in leisure enjoyed. Okay. Okay. We'll see this. We'll see the backward bending supply curve, which I was mentioning here, and then is also mentioned here. We'll see this, but yes, you need to understand that leisure is essentially a normal commodity, which means जैसे जैसे income बढ़ेगी वैसे वैसे your leisure is going to increase. That is, income effect of rise in wage rate on leisure is positive. As income rises, leisure also increases. Okay, that is leads to increase in hours of leisure enjoyed, that is tends to decrease labor supply. Okay. On the other hand, the rise in wage rate increases opportunity cost or price of leisure, that is, it makes enjoyment of leisure relatively more expensive. Okay, but if your wage rate is increasing, you also need to understand that your opportunity cost of leisure is also increasing. ठीक है. लीजर नहीं कर रहा होता तो नेक्स्ट बेस्ट थिंग आप क्या कर रहे होते, पैसे कमा रहे होते, और वो पैसे जो हैं एक्चुअली काफ़ी ज़्यादा कमा रहे होते आप, क्योंकि आपकी वेज रेट जो है वो अगर इंक्रीज़ हो रही है तो, विच मीन्स दैट इन्जॉयमेंट ऑफ लीजर इज़ रिलेटिवली मोर एक्सपेंसिव. महंगा पड़ रहा है आपको लीजर इन्जॉय करना. Therefore, as a result of rise in wage rate, individuals substitute work, which is they work more for leisure, which leads to the increase in supply of labor. Okay. This substitution effect of rise in wage rate which tends to reduce leisure and increase labor supply. It is thus clear that for an individual, supplier of labor, income effect and substitution effect work in the opposite direction. We just mentioned that income effect is positive, and we also discussed how substitution effect is negative in this case. Whereas income effect of the rise in wage rate tends to reduce supply of labor, substitution effect tends to increase it. If the income effect is stronger, अब फिर उस पे आ जाता है, मैग्नीट्यूड पे आ जाता है. तो अगर income effect is stronger तो ओवरऑल जो इफ़ेक्ट आएगा वो पॉजिटिव आएगा. ठीक है. द नेट कम्बाइंड इफेक्ट ऑफ राइज इन वेज रेट विल बी टू रिड्यूस लेबर सप्लाई, और उसके बाद आपकी लेबर सप्लाई जो है वो कम हो जाएगी. On the other hand, if substitution effect is relatively larger than income effect, rise on wage rate will increase labor supply. So, positive effect आएगा. Now the effect of rise in wage rate is split up into income effect and substitution effect on 11.17. In this figure, we measure money income on the y-axis and leisure and labor supply on the x-axis. ठीक है. Money income on the y-axis, just like before. Okay. Suppose to begin with, wage rate is W naught and all the available OT are used to do work. ठीक है. वेज रेट आपकी W naught और सारे के सारे जो है वो OT आप बेसिकली काम करने के अंदर लगा रहे हैं, सारा का सारा काम कर रहे हैं आप. ठीक है. OM नॉट मनी इनकम इज़ अर्नड, और पैसा कितना कमा रहे हैं आप, OM नॉट मनी इनकम. ठीक है. ये आपका M नॉट T है. ठीक है. तो OM नॉट आप मनी इनकम कमा रहे हैं एट OT सप्लाई ऑफ लेबर, काम कर रहे हैं आप जब OT. ठीक है. दिस गिव्स अस TM नॉट एज अ बजट कंस्ट्रेंट. TM नॉट आपका बजट कंस्ट्रेंट है. ठीक है. or which in the present context is the income leisure constraint. Basically, it will be seen from figure 11.17 that TM naught is tangential to IC1 between leisure and income at point R. Thus, with wage rate W naught, the individual is in equilibrium where he enjoys OL naught leisure and therefore he is supplying TL naught work hours. ठीक है. तो IC1 पे है हमारे point R. This is the basically the first point. You can add 1 against this if you're drawing the diagram. Thus, with wage rate W naught, the individual is in equilibrium at OL naught. Now, suppose that wage rate rises to W1 with the result that income leisure constraint line rotates to TM1. So, just like how we did in case of goods, let's just suppose that it's going to tilt, right? So, wage rate rises to W1 with the result that income leisure constraint rotates to TM1. So TM1 is your new income leisure constraint, this one. Okay. क्योंकि हमारी W1 जो है वो is greater than W naught or W naught. Okay. Now with TM1 as a new income leisure constraint, the individual is in equilibrium at point H at which he supplies TL1 work hours of labor which is less than TL naught. Okay. अब ये TL1 लेवल जो सप्लाई कर रहा है ये इज़ लेस, राइट, बिकॉज इस जगह पे आप लेबर सप्लाई करते हो और पहले आप TL नॉट कर रहे थे और अब आप TL1 कर रहे हो. ठीक है. क्योंकि आपकी बेसिकली wage rate increase हो गई है. Thus, with the rise in wage rate, supply of labor has decreased by L naught L1. To break up the wage effect on labor supply, we reduce this money income by compensating variation in the income. To do so, we will take away so much money income from the individual that he comes back to the so we will take away some so much income from the individual that he comes back to the original IC1. Now the point 3 is going to be an IC1 itself, क्योंकि ये जो हमने एक्स्ट्रा पैसा उसको दिया है हम उससे वापस ले लेते हैं, ठीक है. AB in such line obtained from reducing its money income by compensating variation. AB is tangent to IC1 at point S. AB is tangent to at point S, right? This is the new point on the same very IC that we were at in the beginning, at which he supplies TL2 level hours of work. Okay, अब वो क्या कर रहा है, TL2, which is his work has increased from the initial level and from the mid level that we were at before. This shows a change in wage rate from W0 to W1, resulting in leisure becoming relatively more expensive. He substitutes work L0 L2 for leisure. This substitution effect, which tends to increase labor from L0 to L2, और अब ये जो आपका इंक्रीज हो गया है L0 से L2, ये आपका सब्सटीट्यूशन इफेक्ट की वजह से हुआ है. Now if the money is taken from him is given back to him so that the income leisure line again shifts back to TM1. अगर हम फिर से TM1 पे अगर आ जाएं, with TM1 he reaches his old equilibrium position at H where he supplied TL1. ठीक है, अभी H पे आ गए, वो TL1 सप्लाई कर रहे थे हम लोग, ठीक है. वर्क आवर्स, दस मूवमेंट फ्रॉम पॉइंट S to H represents the income effect, और ये इनकम इफेक्ट है, ठीक है, क्योंकि इसमें आपको पैसे ज़्यादा मिल रहे हैं, ठीक है, ऑफ द राइज इन वेज रेट. और ये किस वजह से हो रहा है, क्योंकि आपकी वेज रेट बढ़ गई है, ठीक है. एंड एज अ रिजल्ट लेबर सप्लाई डिक्रीजेज, ठीक है. यही हमने पढ़ा था कि इनकम इफेक्ट की वजह से लेबर सप्लाई डिक्रीज होगी. Thus, while income effect of the increase in wage rate causes decrease in labor supply, the substitution effect will cause an increase. It will be seen that in this case, अब देखिए इस केस में क्या हो रहा है कि आपका इनकम इफेक्ट जो है वो बड़ा है सब्सटीट्यूशन इफेक्ट से, ठीक है. इन दिस केस इनकम इफेक्ट इज स्ट्रॉन्गर देन सब्सटीट्यूशन इफेक्ट, सो दैट द नेट रिजल्ट, अब आपको नेट रिजल्ट देखिए आप कितना हो रहा है, ये L0 L1 work hours, and therefore in this case labor supply curve bends backward. Okay, we have a reduction of L0 L1, ठीक है. इधर आ गए हम लोग, पहले हम इधर गए फिर हम इधर आ गए, ठीक है. L0 L1 से रिड्यूस हो गए हैं नंबर ऑफ वर्क आवर्स, इस वजह से there will be a backward bending curve. Now, if the substitution effect has been larger than the income effect, work hour supply would have increased as a result of rise in wage rate, and labor supply curve would slope upward, जो हमने अभी देखा था ये वाला, ठीक है. ये वाला होता केस अगर substitution